The story unfolds on an unremarkable night in London's wealthiest district. Picture a gathering where soft melodies drifted through the air, designer fragrances mingled, and guests believed they'd already uncovered every palace rumor imaginable. Yet what transpired next blindsided everyone present. Sarah Ferguson, affectionately known as Fergie, leaned forward with that trademark playful grin and uttered a statement containing just 5 words that made the entire crowd go silent. Meghan served as Andrew's initial contact. Time seemed to pause. A champagne flute hung suspended in mid-gesture. A writer's pen tumbled onto the floor. The atmosphere itself appeared uncertain, as though reality had momentarily glitched. Attendees wondered if their ears had deceived them. Sure, Fergie often cracked jokes and made light-hearted remarks. However, this particular declaration carried weight, the kind that doesn't come wrapped in humor. This was a bombshell capable of shaking the palace to its foundation. One media professional breathed, "She actually said those words?" Someone else muttered quietly, "Please tell me I'm misunderstanding the uncomfortable truth?" Nobody was confused about the implication. And everyone understood that Fergie chose her words carefully, especially when she intended to make waves. Almost instantly, mobile devices lit up across the city. Text messages ricocheted through London's power corridors. The phrase "Meghan's yachting background" started circulating with unstoppable momentum, weaving through encrypted chat threads, editorial draft folders, and eventually spilling into public conversation like secrets bursting from a sealed container. What followed caught everyone off guard, because Fergie's statement transcended mere gossip. This was explosive material. To grasp why her words created such shockwaves, we need to travel backward in time, before Meghan ever crossed paths with Harry, during her years climbing Hollywood's ladder. The common assumption places Meghan's royal entrance at that famous blind date with Harry. However, according to multiple well-placed sources, the actual story contains far more complexity. Harry wasn't Meghan's first royal connection. Her initial bridge came through Sarah Ferguson herself, facilitated by Marcus Anderson, her influential ally within elite networking circles. Meghan's introduction to Fergie occurred at gatherings connected to Soho House, that exclusive playground where wealth and influence intersect. Meghan navigated these environments with remarkable ease, captivating everyone she encountered and making memorable impressions wherever her path led. Fergie's awareness of Meghan predated public knowledge. She recognized Meghan as a driven performer with clear ambitions. She identified someone actively seeking advancement, someone who grasped the unwritten rules governing privileged society. Certain well-informed voices even suggest Meghan initially aimed to establish rapport with Prince Andrew, who at that time still circulated within glamorous high society environments, years before his reputation collapsed publicly. Whether that speculation holds water remains debatable. Nevertheless, those murmurs existed in certain circles. And following Fergie's recent revelation, those quiet suspicions suddenly gained credibility and momentum. Because if Meghan's original gateway into royal territory came through Fergie and Andrew rather than Harry, then everything we thought we knew about her ascent requires reconsideration. This transforms from a tale of chance meetings into something far more calculated. And here's where the palace's carefully constructed facade starts showing serious damage. The lingering question becomes impossible to ignore. What information did Fergie possess about Meghan long before Harry entered the equation? To comprehend why Fergie's statement detonated with such force, you need to enter the universe Prince Andrew once dominated. Before controversy demolished his standing, Andrew inhabited a realm of opulence that exists beyond most people's imagination. His preferences ran toward secluded tropical retreats. He favored extravagant getaways. And he particularly enjoyed seafaring vessels, not ordinary boats, but oceanic mansions worthy of royalty. These gatherings transcended typical celebrations. They operated as self-contained ecosystems, populated by titans of industry, runway models, A-list personalities, and influential figures conducting business through hushed conversations. Attendees arrived seeking specific goals, valuable relationships, career advancement, or temporary refuge from reality. And Andrew consistently occupied center stage. Throughout those years, he remained encircled by individuals who shielded him, praised him endlessly, and granted access to spaces he arguably shouldn't have entered. His birthright meant effort was unnecessary. Opportunities simply materialized before him. However, once his association with Jeffrey Epstein became common knowledge, Andrew's privileged existence imploded. Instantly, those gatherings, exotic journeys, and photographic evidence transformed from aspirational to alarming. Every minor detail warranted scrutiny. Every individual connected to those networks became tomorrow's potential scandal. This context explains why Fergie's declaration carried such devastating weight. Even the faintest hint that Meghan might have intersected with Andrew's sphere, years before becoming Harry's wife, was sufficient to trigger full-scale alarm among palace handlers. Andrew represented a connection Meghan absolutely could not afford, intentional or otherwise. And Fergie understood those stakes better than anyone. Now we arrive at the chapter of Meghan's history that Fergie's remark violently dragged back into public view, her alleged seafaring social circuit. Throughout Hollywood, persistent narratives circulated regarding actresses participating in upscale maritime events. These exclusive affairs remained known only within rarefied circles. They operated under strict privacy, shielded by collective discretion. Motivations for attendance varied widely. Some sought entertainment, others financial compensation, many pursued career-advancing introductions. Individuals from those environments claimed Meghan's identity surfaced occasionally in conversations. Not prominently, not repeatedly, just frequently enough that recognition followed once she achieved prominence. Insiders characterized her as deeply embedded in that maritime social scene, portraying someone flexible and willing, someone who leveraged these occasions for professional networking. Certain accounts suggested she received payment for participation. Alternative versions positioned her simply as strategically present, ascending the professional hierarchy through calculated positioning. Yet here's the crucial element: concrete evidence remains absent. No definitive photograph provides complete clarity, only scattered fragments, reported sightings, ambiguous imagery, and narratives that refused complete erasure. This haze of partial truths amplified Fergie's 5-word statement exponentially. When rumors already lurk in darkness, minimal provocation brings them into blinding daylight. And connecting Meghan's rumored maritime networking period to Andrew's former lifestyle? That exceeded mere suggestion. That was ignition. When Meghan's background intersected with Andrew's identity, palace officials responded as though someone had reopened a barely healed injury. Throughout preceding years, subdued whispers persisted, accounts that never fully emerged publicly, yet never completely vanished either, regarding Meghan circulating through environments far closer to Andrew's domain than public perception acknowledged. Available information points toward early 2000s social occasions, philanthropic functions, and luxury gatherings where identical elite demographics overlapped repeatedly. Meghan hadn't yet achieved recognition, but possessed sufficient determination to position herself strategically wherever opportunities existed. And Andrew, during that period, still navigated the exclusive social circuit without consequence. Additional claims suggested Meghan devoted considerably less time at Northwestern University than official records indicated, creating windows for alternative destinations, different metropolitan areas, and undocumented introductions. Then a photograph surfaced. A rediscovered image featuring Karina Sholiak, Jeffrey Epstein's long-term associate, revealed a figure positioned nearby wearing protective headwear, partially obscured from the lens. For casual observers, it meant nothing whatsoever. However, for those who'd tracked Meghan's pre-fame trajectory, the similarities proved striking enough to warrant serious consideration. Not definitive evidence, not absolute confirmation, merely plausibility. And within narratives like this, plausibility frequently carries more weight than certainty. This explains why Fergie's statement didn't materialize randomly. It connected years of dangling details, abandoned whispers, and unverified observations, suddenly aligning every element toward identical conclusions. What if Meghan's entrance into aristocratic society was being fundamentally reinterpreted in real time? With Fergie, coincidence never enters the equation. She's navigated decades oscillating between controversy and endurance. The monarchy has welcomed her warmly, cast her aside, publicly embarrassed her, granted forgiveness, then expelled her again. If anyone comprehends how to weaponize timing and information for advantage, she does. Therefore, when she delivered that statement identifying Meghan as Andrew's initial contact, the world immediately wondered, what motivated this disclosure? Some analysts suspect retaliation. Fergie openly acknowledged feeling diminished and supplanted once Meghan entered royal territory. Meghan secured privileges Fergie never accessed. She gained acceptance Fergie never experienced. Alternative interpretations suggest calculated misdirection. Andrew's public image had reached catastrophic lows. The family possessed no viable rehabilitation strategy. Fergie potentially calculated that redirecting focus toward Meghan, already a divisive figure, might provide Andrew temporary relief from scrutiny. A third hypothesis operates more quietly yet carries greater menace. Certain well-placed observers suggest Fergie might be developing another literary project. Not fantasy narratives, not children's entertainment, but something intensely personal, potentially devastating. If accurate, releasing one dangerous statement about Meghan could represent reconnaissance, measuring how much influence she retains over royal storytelling. Regardless of underlying motivation, one truth remains absolute: Fergie never speaks without precise awareness of resulting fallout. When the controversy erupted, Harry and Meghan's responses diverged dramatically. Harry, according to reliable sources, experienced intense anger. Not solely due to the allegation itself, but because it originated from someone who'd participated in holiday celebrations, family photographs, and intimate moments throughout his entire existence. External betrayal carries expectations. Internal betrayal strikes like a dagger. Meghan chose complete silence. She withdrew from public visibility, postponed scheduled commitments, authorized her representatives to explore legal remedies. For outside observers, her silence appeared enigmatic. For palace officials, it seemed tactical. For Harry, it felt absolutely terrifying. Within their residence, friction reportedly intensified. Every decision, every action, every public communication required meticulous evaluation. They couldn't challenge the narrative directly without magnifying its reach. Yet maintaining silence allowed it to gain dangerous momentum. Simultaneously, palace personnel sensed the atmospheric transformation immediately. Private conversations accelerated behind closed barriers, volume levels decreased dramatically. Every corridor seemed suspended in anticipation. The institution had weathered previous controversies, numerous ones, but this situation felt fundamentally different because it linked two individuals whose reputations were independently combustible. And when woven into identical storytelling, the reaction became thermonuclear. As morning light spread across Windsor, the palace appeared serene from external vantage points, but internally it resembled the opening movements of chaos beyond anyone's containment. Fergie's five-word declaration had violently exposed fractures the monarchy hoped remained permanently concealed. Andrew's controversial history returned to harsh illumination. Meghan's formative years faced unprecedented examination. And Harry experienced disruption on a scale the public had never witnessed. Within palace walls, the central concern wasn't verifying the allegations' accuracy. It was something far more threatening: what additional revelations has Fergie been holding in reserve? Because if one casual remark at an exclusive London gathering could generate this magnitude of turmoil, consider the devastation a purposeful disclosure might unleash. And then there's the ultimate anxiety. The speculation still circulating through royal passages: what if photographic evidence exists? A single frame connecting Meghan to Andrew's social networks, whether authentic or misunderstood, would spark controversy the institution might not withstand. Yet presently, only quietness prevails. A thick, unsettling, incomplete quietness. Harry monitors media coverage relentlessly. Meghan remains sequestered behind protected entrances. And Fergie? She maintains that identical knowing expression she displayed the evening she detonated everything, because she grasps the fundamental reality better than anyone. Within aristocratic power structures, hidden truths never remain underground permanently. They simply await the optimal moment for resurrection. Right now, this controversy represents merely the opening chapter.